This time, Yerushalmi Shabbos. The article also in addition we're on Daf Aychas from Alf Mamish at top, Moeder B'Shim Yisrael, which in the Vilna is at the bottom of Samar Gimel Amud Beis, Moeder B'Shim Yisrael. And the punch shot here is that yesterday we said Esames Mamita is Chayiv Divrei Kol because Rabbi Shimon, even Rabbi Shimon Patzamucha Shensu Gufa, under normal circumstances, he holds that taking out a reach ra, even though you're doing it to remove the reach ra, is so purposeful that it's considered to be amalacha tzich gufa. So now the Gemara suggests, perhaps Rabbi Shimon be sorry hana. Maybe the reason why he holds it taking out the mace b'mita is chayav. It's not because it's a reach ra, but because it's Isurei Hana, and perhaps he holds by Isurei Hana. There is such a also so purposeful that it's considered Melachatzil Gufa for Kohen Rabbi Shimon. So it's not necessarily. It could be that you're chayiv on the mace, not because of Rechra, and not because of Isurei Hana. Maybe it's part of a mace akum. It's about a mace akum and ace makum also is mutar b'hana. Years ago, when I came to Ner Yisrael, and I made the mistake of going over with my cousin, took me over to Juicy to the Rosh Shiva, to Rabbi Ruderman Zatzal, and I made the mistake of saying I learned all Masechus Sanhedrin the previous month. And he gave me a bechina on all Masechus Sanhedrin, which I promptly failed. I don't remember all of the questions, but I remember one question I remember. And he asked me, how do we know Meis Akum was mutar b'hana? I had no idea. And the answer was because the Dove is Mekadesh Michal Bashol with 100 Orlos of Plishtim. So Meis Akum is mutar b'hana. So to talk about Meis Akum, Shembo Roechra, and Botil Kabel. Took it out for the purpose of feeding it to your dog, as gruesome as that might seem, but we're talking hypothetically here. So the idea is that that could be that it is a melacha tzich gufa even by mace in our Mishnah, and that's why the Yerushalmi holds that by mace even Rabbi Shimon is voided, because it's a mace which is mutar b'hana, and you're doing it for the purpose of you getting hana from that body. Okay, Tani, we learned chatzi zayis min hameis. I should say that some people take out the words votzil kabo here, the korban eda, but in any event, it's the most pashut way of learning it. Tani chatzi zayis and it's chatzi zayis min avela, the pachas mikadasha, so that's less than the shear of each one. You have your chayav. So Shimon Paiter. Rabbi Shimon exempts you. My time of the Rabbi Shimon, what size Rabbi Shimon, which makes kvar nismat tumah. You don't have anything which is matame here. Have his eyes of the mace, have his eyes of the vela, post mikadosh, and none of that is the shear of tumah. So my time of the Rabbanan, what's the logic of the Rabbanan who hold that you are chayev? So by he the Rabbi Yudan. It's like Rabbi Yudan said, should be kiyahi probably. That's going to actually change it. And the Shulchan Aruch changed it. It's the same way that we said before. But Meis Akum Shem B'Ruach Ra Votzil Kabo. So just like we said there by Meis Akum B'Ruach Ra Votzil Kabo, also these things are mitzdarif together. The Chatzi Zayis, the post with Chatzi Zayis, the Chatzi Zayis Min HaMeis, Chatzi Zayis Min HaNevela, and post Mikadosh Min HaSheretz. If you're taking them all out to for your dog, and the shear is going, of course, pikalbo, not then they all mitzvah together as dog food. Okay, says this. Says the Mishnah further. I note that tzipor of zebezeh. Somebody kind of cuts the right term, shortens, cuts the nails with each other. Or b'shina, not with a tool. Or b'shina with his teeth. So too, if he to bites off his hair, his svomo, or his mustache, or his kono, or his beard. V'chein godeles, a woman who makes braids, upokeses, and she somebody who the gourmet says also type making braids on the temples. I said skip. Actually, Carmen puts them out of order. A woman who puts mascara on her eyes. So this says all these cases are chayav chatas. We want to explain why. And Chachamim Omri Shushvista or Isurei Derabanan. Hatoshmat, it's not of somebody who plucks out something which is growing from a perforated flower pot and it has a hole in it. Chayav. Sheni Nokov, it doesn't have a hole in it. You're potter. Shim Potter V'Zev V'Zev B'Shimon pot is by both. He holds that the perforation of the flower pot does not make a mechubal karka. Rabbi Avo says, Rabbi Avo B'Shem Rabbi Yossi said, so B'Shem Rabbi Yossi B'China said, Ma Plim Shenotlon Hu. This is the whole machlekes where Rabbi Lezer says that your chayv is where you yourself did this. As Rashi, the Korbanei says, "Shanahu la'atzmo hu the mechayv Rabbi Lezer shem ami yodam matakno," because you know how to, I guess, take him off expertly if you're doing it to yourself. But if somebody else did it for you with their fingernails or with their teeth, then it can't be done properly. Musinhain, they are repugnant, and even according to Rebbe Lezer, it is potter. According to the commentator, there should be really a period here. Divrei Chachamim, according to Chachamim, who say you're not chayev when you do it by without a tool. When are you chayev? Rabbi Achab and Rabbi Nachum Shem Rav Omer chayev by Shena Karstal. So the comment says min misparai emayim. It's like a scissors or the tool used to cut your nails. Rabbi Shem Rabbi said, "How godeles? Why make braids? Why chayev? Mishum boina." Because of construction. But Asrin in our place, Savchin they call Kliyasa braiding, Bniyasa building. Rabbi Zira said, Lo mistabra da ella, the law da ella, does not make sense there, but rather Mishum Orik. You're chayiv on account of weaving. You're weaving the hair. Mechavashi Tasa Rabbi Zira seems contradictory. Rabbi Zira seems to contradict himself. The Taman over there, Rabbi Zira, Rabbi Chia, B'Shem Rabbi Yechon. Rabbi Zira said, Rabbi Chia said, name Rabbi Yechon. Interesting. Unless normally Rabbi Chia would not be called Rabbi Yechon. But I don't think anybody picks up on it here. At least not that I see. Hakoleh Shlosha Nimim Ba'adam. Somebody who who braids 3 strands in Adam Chai Mishum Orik. He's Chai on account of Orik. That's the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Zira Lo Tov Oriku. He says that it is it should be not Orik. It should be Tova. The Pnei Moshe says he says. Shanu b'shem b'yachlan shoshim b'chayv lo mishum orik zir lo v'chi lo tovu v'oriku sheb'tchil machlika b'etzba'osa v'avi k'tova the chayiv shtein, so the chayiv 2 tova and orik. So the question is not just orik, also tova. Karmei has a different shot which is more difficult to understand, but in any event, let's go with the Moshe. So the question is, why do you say only orik? Shows be tova. That's the question. That's the mechavish Shitose. So Kaimeruva Vacham Arachain, it's just Orik. Kaimeruva Kaimemuad. So he says when you do individual strands, that's like Tova, because you're making it's like spinning. You were like spinning a thread by putting all those individual strands together. But the 3 individual strands. Yeah. But when you're doing a large amount of hair, so then that's like the ready, so to speak, the threads are made. So that is the you're not making threads out of it. That's really not making threads. You're just weaving. Okay, so kamru kamut hadarat omar ba'adam. So this is not really going on Shabbos, as the Pnei Moshe says. Hadarat omar behema tar hadarat omar koleh shoshim ba'adam. That was he said if you wind 3 strands by adam davi oreg or tova. That's going to kind of fashion my ba'adam. The Tzarech Adam going to oset los b'tzavar bito. You do this for the purpose of a person like to put a put it on your daughter's neck. Chayitzim said Davi Korigli in Shabbos. I'm not sure what it says. Orig or it should say really Toiva. Shum zeh mikre Origli in Tuma. Kindi and Perachov Zayin the Kalim was also Orig for Tuma. Pergam Matam Mishum Chamish Shemos. Muslim Vasak Shum Matam Mishum Orig. Lokam Adafka Bish Orig and Nimin Tlos with Savar Adam. Tlos Savar Beima to Tor. An animal, when you make such a kill of an animal, it's Tor. Kadada to Tani like that, which you learned. Ose Psika Lilvav Lishaper. You're making a like Korban says tachas leva be'ema kamos chon mitzvah lebuvim, making an ornament for an animal. Lishaper to look shvar, look shvar, look mishupar, look nice. Aladi ba martzufin. If you're doing it to strengthen the cargo of the animal, that put it whole in place, then it's Torah. Korban Bnei Moshe says that it's Kol Misham Shekelim Shel Behema Torah V'Kabel Tuma, and you also it's Tzlos B'Tzavar Behema as a dormer to the animal. It's also Torah. So anything made to be Mishamish Kelim, such as to strengthen the load, or to adorn an animal, it's Torah. That's because, as we learned earlier in the Masechta. Hadar that Omer, that's true b'pshutin. If it's simple, they don't have any receptacles, right? Whatever you wove there doesn't have a receptacle. Ava mukupalim, but if it's folded, and it has a base kibble, has a receptacle, so any case which has a receptacle, whether it's made for a person, whether it's made for an animal, it's still mekabel tuma. Okay, going on to the next part of the Mishnah, Hakol Cheles, the woman who puts on the mascara, Chayav Shum Kol Seves. She's chayav because it's writing. The Korban says, because the way you apply mascara is kind of like writing. The Hapokeses, the woman who's Pokeses, who the Korban said it's like putting on the that's what I translate in the Mishnah, putting the hair on the temples, but actually here I'm not sure why he said that in the Moshe also said that. She like makes a part in her hair, but here it says Bokeses Chaim Mishum Tzovas, that the Bokeses is Chaim on account of coloring, and so the Moshe has that problem. How to reconcile what he said in the Mishnah with what it says here. So he says that Pokes is Sarah Tobaso. So when she splits her hair, she also dyes it. But that's not the Pashut shot. I don't know why they said it in the Mishnah, because the second Pashut is like the Pei Moshe says here. Now in first the Pokes al Panea, she puts color on her face. It's called I forget what it's called in English. Rouge. Something like that. Shloshim Pirchos, my bear Swaka Panel, Harizim Mishum Tzavas, Kamila Paraklau Godel. That's a Pashut shot. Okay, so the Yitzvah Ma Pligan, the what's Malchus on Mishnah by the Otzish Hanakuv, by plucking something out of the flower pot, which is perforated. Shlotash connected on Negev. So Shimon said, your potter only where you're plucking sand out of the power pot, which is not directly opposite to the perforation, the hole in it. I'm a Tosh Mekanek and Negative, people to pluck it out of the place where there is the hole, there is actually a hole. After Bishim Moide, even Bishim concedes that you're chayiv. Okay, so by Rabbi Boy, Hayakulo Ba'aretz, Beneka Ba'chutz. That's my recollection. This first of all, the first distinction, I don't remember if that's in the Babli or not, between Keneg and Negev, Shlo Keneg and Negev. Seems to the article that it is in Shabbos Abtadi Hammer base, but this The second question, which is does not appear in the Bavli, if the flower pot was clean in Eretz Yisrael, but the hole was in Chutz La'aretz. So what's the din of in terms of mitzvahs Tzulis Baretz, the Chumas and Maisos? Where is is what's in the flower pot considered to be Chayav and Chumas and Maisos, or not Chayav and Chumas and Maisos? It's geographically in Eretz Yisrael, but the nourishment is coming from Chutz La'aretz. So Ashkechas Omar, they found they're found saying, I'm not sure exactly who was found saying it. As far as his name, Seisa Omer, but that which is a question by Rabbi Yitzchak was Poshet, that you go after the hole, not after the geographical location. So Chutzatz it's Potter. So I'd like to go with the tikkun here from the Gillian Ephraim, who puts in the line here. But while I was looking at Ephraim, I saw it would have been a convenient had I seen this previously and apologize for not having seen previously. That Anom Rav, when Rabbi Zira, the Pnei Moshe says should be chayav on both orug and tavui. The Gillian Ephraim's girsa is lo orig tavihu. You should only chayav on tavui, not on orig, which would have been very helpful at the time. Sorry about that. So the Gillian Ephraim puts in here, Tani ein ben otzitz nakuv l'she'eno nakuv. No difference. There's no difference between perforated flower pot and not perforated flower pot. Ela hechsher zoim bilvad. Only whether the zoim can become mukshel kabel tumah. If they're mechubel l'kaka, they can't become mukshel kabel tumah. If they're not, if they're not mechubel l'kaka, they can be mukshel kabel tumah. Rabbi Shimon, that's going like Rabbi Shimon. B'ram Rabbanan Ischaronin. According to Rabbanan, there are other differences. Otzitz nakuv mekadesh b'kerem, sheinu nakuv ena mekadesh b'kerem. If it's an otzitz nakuv that is perforated and you pass it through a vineyard, so then it's and it has grain in it. It makes kila kerem. If it's not nakuv, it's not perforated. Ena mekadesh b'kerem. It can't be mekadesh b'kerem. The sheinu nakuv machshus azroim. Otzitz nakuv ena machshus azroim. If it's a otzitz nakuv, it's still out of order. Even according to Gillian Ephraim, it's a little bit. Okay, but I'm not sure Gillian Ephraim actually after looking further, I'm not sure that makes it that much better. I don't know. I think the Gilsa as is, going back. Maybe it's fine. There are other differences between otzitz nakuv and sheinu nakuv. Don't think you have to come out to the Ephraim. No, take it out. Let's go back over the line. That line. Excuse me. And these are certain distinctions, some distinctions between otzitz nakuv and these other ones. Otzitz nakuv mekadesh kerem, sheinu nakuv ena mekadesh kerem. Otzitz nakuv ena machshus azroim. If it's perforated, the zorim inside can't become mukshel kabel tumah. Sheinu nakuv, it's not nakuv machshus azroim. I thought it's otzitz nakuv chayiv. If they pluck out saying otzitz nakuv chayiv, sheinu nakuv part that does not perforate your potter. Rabbi Yossi Amar Lastam Yossi said this generically. Rabbi Chena Mati Rabbi Shem Rabbi Shmuel Yitzchak. Chena said name Rabbi Shmuel Yitzchak. Hator Riv Sabatara Zroim says in the Korban Eda. The Kachs Rabbi Shimon the Hechsher Zroim Otzitz Nakuv Koretz. A special Xeris Akosov that allows us to consider Otzitz Nakuv as if it's Mechubel Karka, even Rabbi Shimon in terms of Hechsher Zroim, that the Zroim inside the perforated flower pot should not be considered to be connected, severed from the ground, and therefore they can become mukshel kabel tumah. By anything else, at least where the plant is not directly opposite the hole, like we said before, it holds that even though it's perforated, it's as if it's not perforated. Vein, there's no difference between the two. They don't do any distinctions except for this specific purpose, right? Was the Torah is right because this is exercise in my time. Why? What pasuk chipom livlasam or there is area. If the vela of something tame falls on any zera, zorua, any plant a seed which is intended to be plant seeded. So that's the way it actions the pasuk. Hator Rivsa Betara Zoim says Zera Zarua Shei Zarea explains Karmenik there should be other Motzim Lizria. That as people take out the plant, Lafukim Bechubar Koldu, as opposed to if it's at all still connected to the ground. Lach Yahani is to say these were the extra words Zera on the pasuk come teach us has be a mamish, a seed severed from the ground. Sibikra. Okay, of course, Miush Enatolush. If it's Enanokov, if it doesn't have a hole at all, then of course Shimon concedes in that case Tosh Gomor, it's completely Tolush and it's not considered to be connected to the ground, and it's going to be Machshir Kabba's Roim. The only Rabbi Shimon says that even though by Otzitz, I just don't distinguish in Otzitz, Nokov, She'enu Nokov, they're both considered to be Tolush Mina Karka, but I have one exception. Actually, it's right. Yeah, I agree. Otzitz Nokov is considered to be Mechuber Karka, and presumably, even if it's not the, even if the plant is not directly opposite the hole, even if it's on the side, since the Torah Rivsa, Tara's Rhyme, it's still not considered to be severed from the ground, and it's not Machshir, it can become Mukshir Kabatuma. Hajlo Peraka Matznia, Peraka Zorik. As somebody throws something from Rishus Yochid to Rishus Rabin, Rishus Rabin to Rishus Yochid, or from Rishus Rabin to Rishus Yochid, Chayev. He's liable. Rishus Yochid, Rishus Rabin be'emsa. To us saying from Rishus Rabin to Rishus Yochid and Rishus Rabin in the middle, Rabbi Kiva Mechayev. Rabbi Kiva is considered it as if it's got Kluta Mishuncha, as if it's absorbed into Rishus Rabin. Therefore, you did a malacha of Hotzah. Chachamim exempt you because they don't hold Kluta Mishuncha Damya. They don't hold that it's as if it rested in the Rishus Rabin. And that brings us to the end of the Mishnah, brings us to the top of Ayin Tes Amud Aleph. So therefore, we will stop here.